Trenton 365 with Jacque Howard. Profiling the businesses, organizations, and people that make Trenton better.
And welcome to Trenton 365, right? I'm taking over Jacque's show. I am. Wow. I don't even know how to introduce you, Jacque, on your own show. I really don't. So let me do this. You're listening to the 3-time Stellar Award winning station, 1300 WIMG, and you're watching on WPHY. Across from me is a person that I've just met 2 days ago. And in the 2 days that I've known him, I've gotten to know a lot about him. No. I have known you, Jacque, for, oh my goodness, it's been quite a few years now.
Yeah, you know, it's actually, first of all, thanks for everything that you do. And I always like to give you credit because you're the one who got me into this whole radio TV thing. So kudos to you.
What was I thinking?
I have no idea.
I don't either. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But it's been, what, 6 years?
It's been at least that. Yeah, it's been at least that. And it's been an amazing journey, peaks and valleys, but it's been super rewarding. And I wouldn't change anything. Well, I don't know about that, but...
Jacque, you're in a lot. Mm-hmm. A whole lot. I know that people might say every time she talked to him, she always talk about the library boxes. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to keep talking about them because I believe that it's important. And I was doing an interview before, and I said one of the things that struck a nerve with me was a joke. And the joke came from a black person. Mm. And it was the worst joke ever. And people laughed about it. And I chuckled. But I don't know if I chuckled out of anger or what. But the joke was, I said, oh, well, I didn't know that. And the guy said, well, it was in a book. And you want to know the best way to keep a secret from a black person? Put it in a book.
Yeah, I have heard that, and some other words added in there.
Yeah, it was. I gave you the clean version.
Yes, you did, and thank you for doing that. But yeah, that's like the misnomer about people of color, and especially African Americans. And it's a shame that a lot of the negative perspectives are also from African Americans about other African Americans.
Yes, I think. That's the worst thing, is we fought so hard to gain respect. And I'm starting from slavery days, because when African Americans was brought over, they were brought over as slaves. So it was a lot to get to the point where we had respect. So it's very hurtful when I see that we're not respecting each other. And so it irked me, that thing irked me. And I was young when I heard it. And I never had something that made me so angry. Mm. And when I was done chuckling, my mom said, that was a different laugh. And I was like, because they'll never hide nothing from me. And that's when I began to read a lot, a whole lot. And within 1 year, my reading level went from, I was in the 5th grade, on a 3rd grade reading level, and Mr. Stansbury kept me back. Ironically, we share the same last name now because I'm married to my ex-husband. Let me make, before anybody says, Vennie, you married? No. My ex-husband is his great nephew. So anyway, Mr. Stansbury told my mother that my reading level was below par. Now, I'm in the 5th grade, but I'm reading on the 3rd grade level. How in the world did they pass me grades 1 through 5 the first time? So I said, all right. He wanted me to go to Sunday summer school, and I didn't go. That summer is when I heard that joke. Mm. That summer till the end of the school year, when I left 5th grade, not only was I on the 6th grade reading level, I was on the 8th grade reading level. Because I was determined that they weren't going to hide nothing from me. Mm-hmm. My boys are the same way. Kevin has dyslexia, but he overcame it. He transposed words. And so the more he read, the better he was able to work on his dyslexia with keys, tricks. but I told them the joke. And my youngest son now reads everything. My middle son, they read it. They read directions. They want to make sure. So the library boxes are important to me because I do not want another child of color to ever hear that joke and think it's okay. So this is why every time I talk to you, I'm going to talk to you about them library boxes because they're important. Talk to us about the library box.
Sure. So I guess it was maybe 4 years ago. The city of Trenton, the previous administration, through budgetary cuts, they had to close down 4 libraries. So that left the whole city of Trenton with one library. There are other municipalities that only have one library, and it functions fine. Ewing is like that. Lawrence.
But they're not as
Hopewell.
big as Trenton to me.
They're not. They're not. In addition to that, I mean, Trenton's population is approximately 80,000 or so. And when you think about how the city is laid out, the less than 7.5 square miles, it would be difficult for someone who would have to take public transportation to get to the library. So my thought was, well, what can I do as an individual? So I started to do some research, and there's a nonprofit organization that's nationally known, Little Free Libraries. And I love the concept and the idea. However, I couldn't see and I couldn't afford to pay for those boxes that they were selling. So I said, okay, well, I'm pretty resourceful, DIY type, do it yourself. So I said, okay, let me see what I can do to facilitate this project or this idea right here with what I have. And lo and behold, downtown Trenton, there were dozens of old newspaper boxes, some metal, some plastic. Some of the organizations that put them in place were now not in business anymore. So they were literally abandoned. So I spoke with the Trenton Downtown Association and asked, said, can I have them? And he said, sure, come get them. We'll even help you get them off the street. So the Trenton Downtown Association provided the actual boxes. The I Am Trenton Foundation, Classics Books and Gifts, George Zenowitz Signs, and Franklin Park's Northeast Block Association, where I live, were the early partners for this. So once I got the boxes, as you know, I'm very connected to the arts community here in Trenton. And I said, how cool would it be if these boxes were turned into public art pieces? And I was able to secure some funding through Prometheus Publishing, Bart Jackson, his publishing company. His title of his radio show is Art of the CEO. And I secured some funding from Prometheus Publishing. And we were able to pay approximately 15 artists to decorate these boxes the way that they wanted to. The project is an adoption model, meaning you're going to get the box for free. You just agree to these set of rules. Basic things. You put it in a public area, make sure it's cleaned, make sure it's stocked at all times, and be willing to come on to the Trenton 365 show and talk about your experience. And that's where we are now. The idea has been growing quite a bit. I just delivered another box to the Mill Hill section of Trenton, New Jersey. So a shout out to Judy Winkler, who is going to be adopting that box. And it's actually, I was contacted by a family from Washington Crossing, which is about 20 minutes from here. And they love the concept and the idea as well. So they're going to be adopting a box also. So this project will be expanding outside of the city of Trenton, which is awesome. But the whole idea is that it will be focused on Trenton, New Jersey.
You just said a lot.
Yeah.
You really did. But you partnered with people that are trying to give back in the city. Why did you do that? I mean, you could have wrote grants, and I'm just being Vennie, but you could have wrote grants. You're a little intelligent. Yes, a little bit. We're not, your head can't get big. No. Yeah. So I will not tell you you're intelligent to your face.
Okay.
Other people I might say, Jacque is pretty smart. Just don't tell him I said so.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But you could have wrote a grant and paid some of the artists. You could have tried to get big name artists, and not saying that we don't have great big names here. I know the library box I wanted, you wouldn't let me have. That's okay, because one of the groups that help give you money wanted that box, so they got it. And that's fine. I took that on the chin. But you could have went after artists like these huge name artists that's going to charge you thousands and thousands of dollars. But instead you decided, let me get the great artists that we have here in the city. Why?
So my background is working in finance and then also working in fashion as well. Two things that I learned about those industries, it's the marketplace and what the marketplace dictates, and also how do you create a marketplace. So here in Trenton, which is typical of most post-industrial cities, we've got a very strong, vibrant arts community. And I'm fortunate enough to be friends with many of them. And since I'm friends with them, it was easy for me to direct attention to the work that they're doing, the fabulous work that they're doing, and to be able to pay them. So it was really just that simple. They were my friends. I had an ability to get some funds and to pay them what they would be accepting of having. And most of them are from Trenton or call Trenton home in some capacity.
I just thought it was amazing, the different artists that I saw there. And I did go and I picked out my box. You asked, no, actually, the one I picked out, you said no, but you delivered. I was like, Jacque, I can't. You just have to deliver the box. So you delivered the box, and it was one you did. Yeah.
So I'm a bit reluctant to talk about the what I do and even categorize it in art because I have so much respect for artists. I use art as a how do I say, it's a therapy. It's an opportunity for me to kind of decompress, laugh, cry, do whatever it is while I'm making art. So my intention was the boxes that I've done, the 2-3 that I've done, they were the first ones done pretty much as a trial. So Franklin Park's Northeast Bach Association, where I live, adopted one. The Bethany House of Hospitality and WIMG. So that's basically 3 of my homes here in Trenton have my boxes. But the cool thing about public art, and I've got to give a shout out to William Casso, who's up in Vermont now. When I first met him and was talking to him about the work that he does and all the murals he's had, and I was like, how does it feel when you do a mural and it gets painted over or the building gets knocked down? And he said, that's part of the graffiti culture. It's here today, it's gone tomorrow. So I morphed that idea into this library box is painted today. Maybe tomorrow someone else will paint it. And that way it stays fresh and it keeps going. But the most important thing is that you have to document the work that you've done.
You do. Let's talk about that. We have about 3 minutes. And most people won't put graffiti as art. I know when I used to come up back in the 80s, and I'm not ashamed of my age, so back in the 80s, I remember the tagging. People would just tag, and it wasn't good. It was just scribbling. And then I saw murals. And the man said, but this is graffiti. And I'm like, no, graffiti is tagging. So when we come back, I want to talk about the difference between tagging and graffiti as an art. Because back in the 80s is when they had the pictures and people would have them all over their clothes and their jacket. I know, because I thought I was cool. And I had some of that. But I always thought that was art. And it wasn't until I was in my 40s that I heard people say, no, honey, that's graffiti. And I was like, So we're going to talk about that when we come back, all right?
Sure thing.
You're listening to In the Public, Trenton 365 with Jacque Howard. I'm Vennie sitting in for him, and he is on the other side, Mr. Jacque Howard himself. We'll be right back.
Every morning is different for everybody. Nate gets up for the early shift, while Brad